Dear viewers, all of us have got multiple official documents. We have the PAN card, we have the passport, we have got Aadhaar card, and so many other records. But if your name is reflecting as different names or different sequence, or it may reflect in a different order across different documents, it might create trouble for you going forward. In this episode, I'm going to talk to you about what are the major mistakes people make while reflecting their names in different records, what problems might follow, and how you can rectify the same. This is NRI Money Clinic for you, and I am Dr. Chandrakant Bhatt, your financial guide for a happy living.
NRI Money Clinic. No hype, just the right advice.
Dear viewers, it all starts with a birth certificate. Your documents will commence with getting a birth certificate. During our times, I am 60 now, and there was no concept of birth certificate. People used to go tell the name of the child, and the schools used to record it as per the statement of the parent. But today, probably somewhere around 1986 onwards, the systems have changed, and today it is absolutely essential that you have a proper birth certificate. At the time of taking a birth certificate, it becomes very essential for you to refer the name of the child in a proper way, refer the additional information that goes into it, be it the parent's name or the spellings of the parent's name. Everything has to be accurately recorded. All future documents which the child will take further on during the course of the life will depend on this birth certificate. So birth certificate becomes the original document in a person's life. Likewise, the 10th standard marks card or the SSLC mark cards also becomes one of the original document that you can use to get other documents. Your parent's name, your name, and your birth date is mentioned in the 10th standard marks card. So your birth certificate and the 10th standard marks card will become the original document to get other documents further on. Subsequently in your life, there will be 4 other documents you will be normally getting into. 1. Aadhaar card, 2. passport, 3. PAN card, and the 4th one is the bank accounts. You cannot manage your life without these 4. If you are an NRI, maybe the Aadhaar card is not essential for you at this point of time. But for every other resident, Aadhaar card becomes very, very essential. So the birth certificate and the 10th standard becomes the primary records, and the 4 other documents I spoke of will become additional document. It is very essential that all the data which gets reflected in these documents should have uniformity. You can't reflect the data in different ways in different records. Why it is essential for you to reflect your data in a proper sequence, in a proper manner, so that it will not create confusions or gives a doubt that it could belong to different persons. These days, you have 2 issues. One, earlier the banks simply used to write your name, and the checks would come and the banks will normally credit money to your account. Now if you receive a payment and the payer has mentioned your name in a wrong way, or if there is a spelling error or something like that, the banks can reject your payment and send it back. So if your names are not aligned properly and you receive a payment, even for a minor mistake, the bank can reject your payment. This is one of the reasons. The second reason why your name should have uniformity across different documents is because of reasons of KYC. KYC is know your customer. If you have to invest in shares or mutual funds, KYC needs to be done. To do the KYC, you need records like PAN card, the address proof are 2 things which are required. Now imagine your name reflects as something on a PAN card and it shows as something which is of a different sequence, or it has some initials which are put in on the address proof like a passport or the Aadhaar card, then the KYC gets rejected. So KYC wants absolute uniformity between the names when you apply for a KYC. So if the names are reflecting in different ways, you will not be able to do your KYC. So it's absolutely essential that the different documents that you give for KYC reflects your name in a proper manner. Now let us look at what are the common mistakes people make while recording their names in different documents. Mistake number 1. You have to record names in the same sequence across all the documents. Let us assume that your name has 4 different portions to it. Let's take the example of the name as Gubbi Ramesh Rajiv Saxena. It's just a hypothetical name, it's not anyone's name. Gubbi refers to name of the place, Ramesh is the given name, Rajiv is the father's name, and Saxena is the family name. All your records should reflect the same sequence, Gubbi Ramesh Rajiv Saxena. If you write your name as G.R. Rajiv Saxena, then it is accepted because G and R are your initials and they come in the same pattern, that's fine. But if you write Ramesh G.R. Saxena, it will become a different name. So if you are using initials, the initials should also follow the same sequence. If your name is Gubbi Ramesh Rajiv Saxena, G.R. Rajiv Saxena is fine. It can't be in a different order. Likewise, the names also cannot be put in a different order. For example, as I said, if your name is Gubbi Ramesh Rajiv Saxena, it can't become Gubbi Rajiv Ramesh Saxena. So it should reflect the same way. You can use the initials, but the initials should come in the same order. Mistake number 2, which might happen. Be conscious about the space between 2 portions of your name. Again, I'll take the same example. Let's say if your name is Ramesh Rajiv Saxena. If your name is Ramesh Rajiv, single word, then write it as Ramesh Rajiv without a space between Ramesh and Rajiv. So it becomes Ramesh Rajiv Saxena. If your name is Ramesh Rajiv Saxena, 3 different portions to it, clearly give a space. And the same way it should get reflected in all the document. In one record it shows as Ramesh Rajiv as one single name and your family name as Saxena, and in another it creates a space between the two, then there is a problem here. So be conscious about whether there is a space in between 2 portions or there is no space in between, and let all records reflect your name in a same way. The third mistake which might happen is the order of your given names, middle names and family names have to be clearly identified. If it is your passport, it clearly mentioned what's your family name, what's your middle name, what's your given name. You cannot interchange them. So write your family name very clearly in the family names column. Write your given names as your primary number and write your middle name, if you have a middle name, in its proper place. If you interchange it or if you miss one of the things in one of the document, it can give rise to doubts and there can be problem in your record. Make sure how many portions are there, your given name, middle name, family name, record it correctly and let all documents reflect your name in the same way. Mistake number 4. The initials, the mistakes which might happen in use of different initials, either in the beginning of your name or at the end of your name or in the middle of the name. The initials you use should be again in the same sequential order. If I go back to my old example of Gubbi Ramesh Rajiv Saxena, you can write your name as G.R. Rajiv Saxena. G.R. stands for Gubbi Ramesh, Rajiv Saxena can come. Or you can write Gubbi Ramesh R. Saxena. So Gubbi Ramesh, R stands for Rajiv Saxena. That's permitted. Whereas if you write Rajiv Saxena, GR, it becomes a different kind of a name because the initials are coming at the later part of your name. This can create confusion. So if you are a person who is using initials, let the initials be there at the place where it should really reflect. You are using initials to make your name as a shorter version of it, and if it needs to be explained, you can explain it with the help of documents. Don't change the place of initials. If it is in the front, let it remain in the front. If it is in the middle, let it remain in the middle. Or if it is there at the end, let it come at the end. It should follow the same sequence. Don't put it in a different order. Mistake number 5. The spelling errors in the names. You have a name, it can be spelt in different ways. I'll take the example of another name here. Let's say the person's name is Satish. It can be spelled as Satish, or it can be spelled as Satish, or it can be spelled as Sathisha, one additional alphabet coming into your name. So all the 3 names can appear as 3 different persons. So if your name is reflected in one spelling in one of the document, make sure that all the other documents reflect your name with the same spelling. Do not create a spelling error between different documents. The other mistakes that might happen in your documents are with respect to your parent's name and with respect to your spouse name. Whatever the care I mentioned while referring your name, the same care should be taken while referring your parent's name in different records. Let different records do not reflect your parent's name in different ways. Across the different document, your parent's name should also be reflected in the same order, with the same spelling, with the same care for the initials and every other point that I mentioned earlier. Now let us look at what care you have to take while entering your spouse name in different records. An ideal situation or a preferred situation is, let the name of your spouse be recorded as per her official records. Let's say that her birth certificate mentions her name in a particular way, or the 10th standard mass card or the passport or whatever the document she has is reflecting in a particular way. Record your spouse name in the same way. One problem that might come is post the marriage. In India, there is a system of changing the name of the lady. Let's say if her name is Shantala with her parents and you make her Ragini post the marriage, many people change the documents also. I won't get into the debate of whether it is right, wrong. It's a personal preference, it's personal belief. So we'll not venture into that particular field there. But if you keep the name in a same sequence as before, it makes your life much simple. You can call your spouse in whatever the name you want. You can, in the family circles, you can refer her by whichever the name. But from an official perspective, from the ease of transactions, it becomes absolutely simple for you to carry the name of your spouse as per her birth certificate or as per her other official documents like an Aadhaar card or any other document that you have. Now that I have told you different mistakes which might have crept in while recording your names, and if you observe some of the mistakes are there in your life too, what can you do about it? You have to go towards rectification of the mistakes that have come in. Some mistakes can be easily rectified, some mistakes are extremely difficult to rectify. Let's look at what all the things that you can do. If your mistake is there in the birth certificate, it's possible to change the name by providing required documents. It's not easy because the birth certificates were issued decades before in some village or some taluka. You may have to revisit that place. All these problems might come. So it's a difficult exercise, but it is definitely possible to change it if you are able to convince the authorities why that mistake has happened. If it is a data entry error while issuing a birth certificate, you can give the required proof and you can ask them to set it right and give it, and based on that the other documents can be changed. The other original set of document what I spoke about, 10th standard mass card, again it's a very Herculean task to change it. It's not impossible, but you can practically say it's very difficult because you would have passed the 10th standard many decades before. Going back, searching for the record, going to one another place becomes a very difficult thing. So the two primary records what I spoke to you, the birth certificate and 10th standard mass cards, are very difficult to change but possible. What about changing your name in Aadhaar card? Aadhaar card is a major document and it is possible to change your name in Aadhaar card. But the care should be taken while changing your name in Aadhaar card. You have to give the required documentary evidence and you can change it only once in your lifetime. If you make a mistake while rectifying your name in Aadhaar card, subsequently it is not possible to change your name. So when you are changing name or name sequence or spelling errors or anything like that in Aadhaar card, make doubly sure, triply sure and apply for it and get everything right in one single time. You don't have a second chance to rectify it again. You can change the address in your Aadhaar card, but you can't change your name for the second time there. What about your changing your name in the passport? At the time of issuance of the passport, if you are given one document as a proof of your name, let's say birth certificate or a 10th standard, and these two records are showing names in different ways, next time during your renewals or you can apply for a rectification, give proper documents and it can be changed. Likewise, your spouse name can be altered the way you want it. In a similar way, you can change your parents' name also to reflect in a way that you want it to be reflected. That's perfectly possible in a passport. You can do it at the time of your renewal, or you can apply for rectification or change of address at that time. You can do that. That shouldn't be a problem. The easiest place where your names and these mistakes that have come in can be rectified are in two places. One, your bank records. Second is your PAN card. So PAN card also has a simple process of rectification of PAN card, wherein you can apply for a rectification of PAN card, give the necessary documents in support of your claim that there is a mistake, my parents' name is reflected in a wrong way, or sequence is wrong, or initials are put in wrong places. Then your PAN card can be definitely altered. You have to apply for it and you can get it done. Likewise, in a bank account, if your bank accounts are opened long before and a different document was issued and it's not reflecting in a correct way, initials are placed in the wrong place, you can apply to the bank and it can be easily done. So bank accounts and PAN cards are easily done. Aadhaar card and passport requires proper documentation and you have to be extremely careful while changing your records there. And birth certificate and 10th standard mass card, yes, possible to change, but a very, very difficult process. Dear viewers, hope the video that I have done today helped you to understand why it is absolutely essential to reflect your data across different documents and what might happen in case if there is deviations from this. If it helped you to understand the consequences of reflecting your names in different ways in different records, or if it helped you to understand how you can rectify it, please like this video. If you are a person who is watching my channel for the first time, or if you are yet to subscribe for this channel, please hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon. Don't forget to share this video with your near and dear ones. Thank you very much for watching this episode on NRI Money Clinic. I shall be back with you with yet another topic in yet another video very, very soon.
Press the bell icon for more details and subscribe our channel.